Another live stream on the LuminouszZtarr channel. You guys are doing well today. I want to thank everybody in advance for his or her time. Okay, now I'm going to be talking about the power of growing past narcissist relationships. Please check the description box below for further details to the live streams. Also, you're going to also find on those links, you're going to find a new merch. Also, friendly reminder, you can find me on the LuminouszZtarr podcast. There are news episodes that come out every week. All right, so the power of growing past narcissist relationships. Hope you guys can hear me. All right, so how the body remembers narcissist relationships. There's intergenerational trauma and experiencing adverse childhood experiences, better known as ACE or ACE, anxiety, social anxiety, psychic attacks, flashbacks, dreams, and nightmares, post traumatic stress syndrome, and complex PTSD symptoms. Telekinesis influences experiencing a parallel reality. All right, so curse language via smear campaigning, character assassination, and gaslighting. Now, the main thing that sometimes narcissists do in order to take control of the relationship and to maintain control is to play with the mind. So when a narcissist pull a telekinesis, very often they are attempting to alter a person's sense of time and a person's sense of reality. So when this happens, the narcissist often maintains and keeps control because, well, losing control equates losing supply to a narcissist. All right. So another thing that happens is the curse language. Now, the curse language doesn't necessarily mean that the narcissist is using profanity. Sometimes the curse language means that he or she, they may be pulling the smear campaigning. Okay. They may be character assassinating and gaslighting. Very often when a person is being gaslit, more than likely he or she would begin to question not only their reality, but their sense of time. Okay. Sometimes narcissists, they do things and a person may forget when it happened. They may even forget how long it's been since the narcissist has been nice to him or her, for instance, right? The narcissist, sometimes they're very moody. So the narcissist may pull a telekinesis, whereas the person may start to question when the narcissist did something. They may even question what the narcissist's intentions are. So when gaslighting happens, right, a person, they may start to question their sanity. They may start to question who they are, or their identity. Okay, so give me a swig of water here. So when a person starts to experience gaslighting, from a narcissist, very often they will feel like they're in a twilight zone. They may feel that, they may question what's going on in the relationship, what's real, what's not real. So this is how very often narcissists will pull a telekinesis, and they will combine that with using curse language. Okay, so the smear campaigning, especially when a narcissist may feel out of control or that they're losing control, they may start to pull the rage tactics, the narcissistic rage tactics in order to get somebody in line. Character assassination, well, that means that they're trying to paint a picture of the person that's not true in order to control him or her. The narcissist likes to stay in control. Now, covert narcissist is just, they're very diabolical with the character assassination. Okay, so they're trying to paint a picture of the person that they're trying to control, and they will present it to everybody else. Case in point, a narcissistic mom who often will create this false narrative of her daughter, and she will present that to the world. And she may spend a lot of time and energy attempting to get other people to see her daughter as unfavorable. Okay, because the narcissistic mom, she may perhaps want to be seen as a victim. So in order to continue to keep control, she will perhaps have other people or try to influence other people to see her daughter as a problem, like she does. Because the narcissistic mom may be like, oh, I'm a victim. See, I have a problem. I have a daughter who's giving me a problem, right? She's giving me a lot of drama. Unfortunately, that false narrative only suits narcissistic mom, and it hurts everyone else, especially her daughter. So when you talk about that curse language, it's not necessarily using profanity. Sometimes narcissists, they may repeat certain phrases, they may repeat certain words, and they may use a tone of voice in order to control. Okay, so that's a curse language. It's the way that they're speaking. It is what they're speaking. Sometimes, it's really not about why they speak, why they say things. They may say things, and a person may ask, well, why did they say that, right? But sometimes that curse language is all about not why they're speaking what they're speaking, but how they're speaking it and what the intentions are behind it, the energy behind it. Okay, so the curse language is not necessarily profanity. Okay, it's about using certain words like, a lot of us know about the word salad of a narcissist. That goes under curse language as well. Narcissists use repeated phrases along words, and then they use the tone of all of that is again curse language, but then that could be the word salad that a lot of us know about too. So narcissists will often maintain control by using the curse language via smear campaigning, character assassination, and gaslighting. So the telekinesis just makes it all worse, I think, because then a person is experiencing a parallel reality. What's the parallel reality? The parallel reality is when a person is experiencing the narcissist relationship one way and the narcissist is experiencing it in another. So it may feel surreal. It may feel unreal. It may feel like a twilight zone. And very often a person is questioning not only their sense of time, but their reality. They may also start to second guess themselves. They may start to question whether or not the narcissist meant to do something. When, for instance, they may insult the person. The person, they may question and say, did the narcissist really mean what they said? Or, what, right? But a lot of times when a narcissist is pulling these shenanigans, they're only looking out for number one. Unfortunately, those of us who are involved with a narcissist, especially when we're invested emotionally, sometimes it's hard to see these things, so the body remembers. The body remembers all of our experiences and it records it. So how does the body remember narcissist relationships? Whereas right here, anxiety, social anxiety, psychics, flashbacks, dreams, and nightmares. Sometimes people have nightmares, awful nightmares about their narcissist. The body remembers, even when we try to forget. We may have maladaptive coping skills, such as maybe eating a little bit too much, drinking a little bit too much, going from one relationship to the next, or, all of these types of things in order to try to forget what? To try to forget the things, about narcissist relationships, about narcissists, the way they are, the way they relate to people can be problematic. So the body remembers, but sometimes we try to forget. All right. All right. So the post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD symptoms, again, the body remembers everything. And even when we try to forget, we, unfortunately, but thank goodness there are ways and forget to a certain, whereas we're thriving forward. But I'll get to that later. So post-traumatic stress syndrome. These are signs of, right? Complex PTSD symptoms, signs of trauma. Very often people are dealing with this as an aftermath of narcissistic abuse. So when we start to look at all of these things here on the slide, and see, this is just some of it. There's a lot more. But when we start looking at this, you can see how the body records, and this is how the body responds to all of the things we went in the narcissist relationship. Okay, intergenerational trauma and experiencing childhood experiences, or what's known as ACE. Okay, I'll get a little bit further into the ACE as well, and intergenerational trauma. Okay, so the body remembers, all right, and it records. This is one of the reasons why I think journaling is so powerful. Our lives are being recorded way from the time that we're born into the time that we transition. So when we journal, we are also recording what we're experiencing. That's another excellent way to express what one experiences. And not only that, to also release energy, heavy energy, that is accrued from or occurring from the narcissist relationship. All right. So journaling, some people, they don't think journaling works, but times, but that's just another way of releasing things. Okay. Instead of keeping it bottled up inside. So how the body remembers narcissistic abuse. And I'm going to put it this way. When it comes down to spiritual, psychological, and physical, well, there's a spiritual, psychological, and physical discomfort when it comes to narcissistic relationships. Just think about it. The aftermath of the narcissist relationship, even if you're still in the narcissist relationship, okay, it is still very painful. Let's go to the physical first. I mentioned the PTSD symptoms. One of the symptoms to PTSD is chronic pain. Okay, so that's the physical aspect of how the body remembers narcissistic abuse. How about the psychological? Well, there may be mental, okay, there may be mental impairments. There may be mental imbalances. There may be mental anguish going on due to what? The narcissistic abuse that one is experiencing. Now let's go to the spiritual. When it comes down to narcissists, sometimes, okay, they will use religious doctrine to abuse someone else. Now, I'm not trying to get religious on you guys, but I'm just making a point. Sometimes the body remembers narcissistic abuse spiritually. Okay, sometimes narcissists will spiritually misuse someone. We've all heard, well, most of us have heard the horror stories, how narcissists sometimes will use their religious beliefs or maybe even their spirituality to misuse someone else's energy, right? They may misuse the energy. They may start to try to control the person by what they believe in, their belief systems or their belief, whatever they believe in. It can be, well, I'm not going to get, I'm not going to touch that. Okay, I'm not going to touch that. But you guys get the picture. Narcissists sometimes will use what they believe in, right? Religiously, spiritually, and they will use that against people. And not only that, but sometimes if they find out that somebody believes, they will try to use it against the person. Okay, so it kind of goes both ways. But I really wanted to point that out, though, because the body remembers all of our experiences. And unfortunately, narcissists will try to use that against the person. Okay, so neuro-linguistic programming. Narcissists will get busy on grooming a person, right? But one of the best ways that I have found to deal with that is to practice what's called self-regulatory processes or self-regulatory process. What is that? That is another way of saying a person can soothe themselves should the narcissist do something or say something to cause them to become triggered. I just went over the word salad. Okay, narcissists, believe it or not, they can say things and they can go ahead and combine that with the tone of their voice. And they may repeat certain phrases, right? As if they're putting a person up under a spell in order to intimidate him or her. And this may cause that person to be triggered. Okay, so self-regulatory processes or self-regulatory process is how you can soothe yourself in these cases. Narcissists, they will get busy on grooming a person in order to perhaps get them to feel, think, or behave in a way that will ensure that they will obtain narcissistic supply and not only obtain it, but maintain it. This is why they want to try to stay in control. The narcissist's worst nightmare is to lose not only control, but lose source supply. And they kind of, to a narcissist, that goes hand in hand. If they lose control, they automatically may think that they lose supply. If they lose supply, then that means they may be losing control. They may be slipping. Okay. They may be losing their touch or whatever, right? Okay. So let me go ahead and break down the neuro-linguistic programming. Programming means your behavior, right? The neuro means your thinking process. And then the linguistic means the words. Now, when I look at all three of these things right here, this is another way you can start to see how the narcissist uses all three areas to try to what? Control a person, to dominate the relationship, and to keep control. Perhaps even influence someone to stay in a narcissist relationship with him or her when their gut tells them it's time to go. It's time that things change. But neuro-linguistic programming can be used for good. Unfortunately, narcissists use it for bad. So when you start looking at these three sections right here, the programming, okay, the neuro aspect, and the linguistic aspect, you can start to see how narcissists use all three of these areas to perhaps even use the narcissistic rage tactic. Why does a narcissist use the narcissistic rage tactic? Well, because their false self-images are threatened. Threatened by what? A person may ask. Well, the person may be showing signs of leaving the relationship. This goes right back to if the narcissist is losing control, they may equate that to losing supply. So when the narcissist uses neuro-linguistic programming, once again, they use it to try to control, and not only that, but to try to influence the situation. It could be a third-party situation. The narcissist will apply neuro-linguistic programming or the grooming process, right, to try to have a particular outcome in order to try to maintain their third-party situation. Narcissists often will have a network of third-party situationships. They don't do one. You will rarely meet a narcissist that only has one third-party situation. They often have a network, and that spills right over into their professional life. This is not just a personal thing. This is not just a romantic situation. The narcissist will often have a network of the third party situation. Okay, they can't just do one. All right, so just like this chart that you see here, this illustration, where as you see the dynamic, the NLP dynamic is right in the middle. Picture the narcissist right in the middle, just like you see on this illustration. And then you see the other clusters around it. This is everyone else, right, who is around that narcissist, feeding or making sure that the narcissist is supplied. I'm not trying to offend anyone when I put it this way, but this is the best way that I can put how that third-party situation network often goes. It operates, it functions just like you see this illustration here. The narcissist is often in the middle and everyone else around him or her, like a cluster, right? They are making sure that the narcissist, and usually this is unconsciously, that their narcissist is being well supplied. And this is what the narcissist prefers. They want to be right in the center, not of your heart necessarily, but of your mind, which goes right into the neuro-linguistic programming. When you look at all three of these sections here, you can see how the narcissist will use each one to his or her advantage in order to maintain control. So the way that you're thinking, perhaps what you're thinking, sometimes will supply the narcissist. Okay, and this doesn't mean you're not supposed to think. This doesn't mean that you should stop thinking. I'm just pointing out how the neuro-linguistic programming, each section, right, the narcissist uses to his or her advantage. The programming, your behavior, the narcissist will often not only study, but even mimic. The narcissist will mimic somebody's behavior. You ever wonder why the narcissist sits back and they study you? Sometimes you think they're trying to be you. Well, here it is. They're studying you. They're studying your behavior in order to do what? To control you, to keep you under control, to keep you perhaps even overly dependent on him or her in the narcissist relationship. So let's go to the linguistic, the words. Okay, I've been going over a few of these already, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper with this. All right, hope you guys don't mind. But the linguistic aspect. Now, here's what the narcissist does. Not only the word salad, right? They use the word salad, but they will even start to look at certain words, phrases, even your gestures. Okay, that goes to the behavior, but the linguistic part. The narcissist will often, just watch for a second, right? I want you guys to really listen to this part. Whenever the narcissist start to repeat what you have said, sometimes they will use your words against you. Sometimes they will scramble your words. This is the linguistic part of it. They will not only study your behavior, and they will often study your words, but they will also study your thinking. What are you thinking about? Do you ever wonder why the narcissist always wants to pick your brain? They may often say that to you. They're not kidding. They want to be right in the center of your mind, not your heart. The narcissist cares nothing about what's in your heart. They don't even care what you have in your heart for them. They want to be in the center of your mind. That way they can get everything else. They can control everything else. But when they start to study your words, isn't it interesting how they often come back and they use those words against you? That's not by accident. So when they start to study how you speak, they start to look at how you think. They start to look at how you behave. Now I'm going to the how first, because that's the most, I'm telling you, that is the most important part to the narcissist. They don't care about why you behave the way you behave. They don't care about why you think the way you think. They don't even care about why you use the words that you use, or why certain words tend to have sentimental value for you, or tend to have you going into a nostalgic mode. They don't care about that. They care about how. See, they care about the how, not the why. This is often why when you ask a narcissist why they treated you the way that they treated you, you ever wonder why they continue to lie? And you get that feeling that they're lying when they're answering the question? Very often it's because you're asking the wrong question. There's nothing wrong with asking the question. When it comes right down to it, if you're going to ask a narcissist something, ask them how they did it, not why they did it. And then watch them stumble or watch them freeze. Because see, it is about the how with a narcissist, not really the why. So when you ask them why they treated you like they treated you, they're only going to come up with more excuses as to why they had to treat you the way they treated you, or why they're treating you that way. You're right. They come up with more lies and excuses. So they don't mind you asking them why. Okay, they thumb their nose at that. That's funny to them. That's a joke. But when you ask them how they did it, oh yeah, then they start to freeze. So it's about the how with a narcissist, not necessarily the why. So the next time you say, ask a narcissist a question, and I'm not saying be confrontational, but if you want to test this out, it's of course up to you. But it's amazing how when you ask them about the how versus the why, then they can't really dodge that. They can simply not answer it, but that's going to be your answer right there if they're not going to answer it. But anyway, when you start looking at the programming, the neuro-linguistic programming, and breaking that down, you can see how the narcissist will use this to groom a person. So very often, unfortunately, a narcissist will start to groom as early as possible. And if this is involving a child, This is, of course, this is unfortunate because children are impressionable. They're easy to manipulate, unfortunately. So a narcissist will often get very busy on grooming a person. So the self-regulatory processing is a way that a person can, they can push back from that, right? They can protect themselves. Because when a person is soothing the self, they're practicing mindfulness. And there's 4 elements to mindfulness. That's assertion, that's practicing self-preservation, which sometimes gets a bad rap because some people say that, well, that's, you're being too selfish. But it's just an excellent way to make sure that your overall well-being is on point. And another aspect of mindfulness is emotional discipline. Because let's just face it, the narcissists, they're in control when we are in our feelings. So when we're in our feelings, okay, I'll just turn it around. The narcissist is in control. So the narcissists like to stay in control. Anything to maintain the control. All right. So another aspect of mindfulness is practicing personal boundaries. So when we practice personal boundaries, the narcissists, they're not able to really penetrate the energy body. How come? This is not about putting up walls. This is not about being guarded. No, this is about making sure that your overall well-being is being maintained. Therefore, the narcissist really cannot control your life. You're in control of your life. You're in control of your mind, your body, your spirit, the whole 9. This is why I wanted to point all of this out. The neuro-linguistic programming, the self-regulatory processing, the grooming process, because a lot of people, unfortunately, when they are involved with a narcissist, and I've been there, done that, right? Cluster B personality in my case, right? So when we're right in the middle of it and we're up to our neck in it, sometimes it's very hard to see these things, okay? But these are the things that's going to help us to stay focused on thriving forward and to help us to grow past the narcissist relationship. See, the narcissist often thinks that control is sweeter than revenge. But when you are maintaining self-control, that is your revenge. That's to you, perhaps that will be the sweetest revenge because they can't control you anymore. You're in control of yourself. Narcissists often think that being in control is sweeter than revenge against anyone. But when you are a person who is practicing all of these, the mindfulness, you're going to classes, you're going to seminars, you're taking your life by storm. You are demonstrating your growth. You're demonstrating that you are a person who knows how to control themselves. So self-control is sweeter than revenge. That is your revenge, to tell you the truth. Okay? So, yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. But neuro-linguistic programming is something that narcissists often use because it messes with the mind more than anything else. Once the narcissist is in the center of a person's mind, they can pretty much get everything else. And it can be a little bit challenging to then grow past the relationship with him or her. So when they start to study how you use words, the words you do use, your facial expressions, your expressions, everything, the thinking, what you tend to think about. And then when you speak your mind, they're studying that as well. The narcissists, they catch on to that. Sometimes they seem to have a sixth sense about these things. They tend to have a knack of making sure that, and again, it's usually unconscious on the narcissist's part, but you ever wonder why they seem to have a knack for what you're going to do or say next? Well, here it is. They study your behavior, your thinking, and your words. So neuro-linguistic programming is actually designed to help people to what? Be able to control themselves. And just picture this. The narcissist is often trying to use NLP to stay in control or to control you, but you can use NLP to maintain control and to have self-control. So that's why I said self-regulatory process is the best way that I have known to actually fight against the grooming process. Okay, so narcissists, they will often study a person on various levels. Like they said, there are levels to this schnit. Okay, All right, there's a level. I just made up that last word to it. We have to watch out what we say here. But anyway, neurolinguistic programming is it can be used for good because this is a way that a person can become a better version of themselves, or to see how far they can go in life, to perhaps tap into their own potential. This is what neurolinguistic programming is supposed to do in order to help a person move forward, right? And it's supposed to be used for good, but narcissists often use that. So, what is neuro-linguistic programming? The study of unconscious and conscious thinking, behavior, and language patterns. NLP can help to build strategies for relationships, how to learn, and decision making with an objective towards higher potential. Okay, simply put, self control, being able to make decisions for self. A lot of the times people go to narcissists and they will ask them permission. That kind of, that may make your skin crawl a little bit when you think about it, right? But narcissists, they want to maintain control. Unfortunately, some people, they, who are emotionally involved with narcissists, they may ask the narcissist permission just to do anything, right? To even think anything, or to yet alone say anything. They may look to the narcissist for permission on a lot of things. Okay. But anyway, NLP can be used for good as well as bad, like a lot of things, right? But as far as like learning how to learn, that might sound, a little funny to some people, but learning how to learn can be very powerful. Narcissists often want to tell people what to think, not how to think. But when you start to learn how to learn, that's one way that you push back against that too. You're learning how to learn. How to learn. Okay? Very powerful. And I'm not too proud to say I still do this. And we don't know it all, right? We don't everybody doesn't know it all. I know I don't. So how to learn is very powerful. So when a narcissist starts to try to control a person's mind, that's one of the best ways they can push back. Say, okay, I'm learning how to learn something. It can be anything. So when it starts, when a person starts to take more control of their life, the narcissist really cannot, they can't do too much with that. Now, of course, they may feel threatened by it because narcissists tend not to like change. But when you accept that you're changing, that's very powerful. So neurolinguistic programming, just one more time, just breaking it down. The neural aspect is the way we use senses to create and understand our experience of the world. The linguistic is the way we communicate with others and with self. The programming is the resultant behavior of the connection between language and neurons. Okay, so again, just break it down. NLP, it does work. Some people say it doesn't work. They doubt it. They don't think it's very powerful. But ask someone who's been in a narcissist relationship, and they'll tell you that NLP can work. Okay, but unfortunately, it was used against him or her. The narcissist will use whatever they have to use, or whoever they have to use, in order to what? Get the source supply at the end of the day. Okay, so narcissist relationships are often emotionally challenging, but fear and forgiveness are two dynamics that seem to be at the forefront of those challenges, which could take a long time to overcome. One of the reasons why, from my personal experience, why it may take a little bit of time to overcome narcissist relationships is because of the memories, not being able to forget certain things. Now, some people have been able to forget certain things, well, repress the memory, right? They have been able to do that, but that was only because the subconscious mind was functioning in a way that protects them. But the subconscious mind works in a way that protects us all. Sometimes the memories are just too painful. Okay, so narcissist relationships, I think, as hectic and as traumatic as they are, as full of drama as they are, one of the things that I have found to be the most challenging is two dynamics. Pardon me, two dynamics: fear and forgiveness. Those two things have been the most challenging to overcome, whereas narcissist relationships are concerned. Because when you think about the laundry list of things that narcissists have pulled, there's a lot to forgive, isn't it? But here's the thing: a person has choices. They can choose whether or not they're going to forgive. Sometimes, due to a person's belief system. They may think that they have to forgive at the time that they're being asked to forgive. What I have found is that forgiveness is a very personal and intimate thing. So whenever a person is going to contemplate forgiveness, I say just, look at where you are. Look at who you are. What can you deal with right now? A narcissist relationship is a lot to deal with. But when you tack on forgiveness, and more actually tack on being pressured to forgive, that can be a lot. So I just want to share that with you all because I've gone through this myself. Okay, being or feeling as if I had to forgive at the moment that I was being asked to forgive someone, right? But it's hard sometimes. It's very hard, especially when you start thinking about what you've gone through. So fear is another thing that a lot of people often deal with concerning narcissist relationship. Why? Because the narcissist often will use intimidation tactics in order to maintain control. So fear and forgiveness are two dynamics that a lot of people who have been narcissistically abused often deal with a little bit more than the average, because the narcissist relationship is not your typical dysfunctional relationship. Why isn't it the typical dysfunctional relationship? Well, because you're dealing with a person who has a personality disorder that is fixed. The narcissist is a personality disorder, okay, has a personality that is fixed. The cluster B personality, which consists of 4 clusters. Cluster B personality consists of the narcissist personality, the antisocial personality, the histrionic personality, and the borderline personality. So when you're dealing with those 4 things right there, you're dealing with a person who has a personality disorder that is fixed. Doesn't mean necessarily that he or she will never see the writing on the wall, but one is not to hold their life on hold in hopes that that person will see the writing on the wall. Okay, now some cluster B personality types, because they do care about their relationships, they have seen the writing on the wall, and yes, they are going to see someone about it, right? But in the case of a narcissistic personality type, out of all 4, I'm going to say the narcissistic personality type is probably the least flexible of them all. They're less likely to change. But are there guarantees to this? No. But according to my research, narcissistic personality is the most rigid. They're less likely to change. So when you start looking at the laundry list of things that he or she has said and or done, there seems to be a lot to forgive. Okay? And then there's the fear, right? Fear of them doing or saying something that may make your life more miserable. So a person may tend to walk on eggshells. They may tend to mouse around their life, explaining, apologizing for existing, all these things. So fear and forgiveness are 2 of the biggest dynamics that I have dealt with concerning narcissist relationships. And I think it tends to be those 2 right there. Okay. So when it comes down to the cluster B personality type, it tends to be a fixed personality. Okay. It doesn't tend to change. This is one of the reasons why it's not your typical dysfunctional relationship. Because sometimes you may deal with a person who has been abusive, but they may show some compassion from now and again, right? Sometimes from time to time, they may show some empathy. They may show some sympathy, but not with a narcissistic personality. They lack empathy. Where have we heard that one? Right? Where have we experienced that? When have we experienced that? Right? That's all over the narcissist relationship. Narcissists tend not to have empathy. So regardless if you're going to forgive them or not, it really is all about you. So when a person contemplates forgiveness, one of the things to remember is that it is a very intimate and personal thing. Okay? It really is all about you. The narcissist has no business in your business when it comes down to your contemplating forgiveness. Okay, really. And most of the time that's going to be a part of your support base. There are grievances, there are grievance support, there are grievance um, groups, right? There are support groups. There are counselors, right? So when it comes down to contemplating forgiveness, there's certainly a lot of support there. And, speaking from experience, it is about, yourself. Don't include the narcissist in that. Sure, they did a lot of things that were crappy. But when it comes down to contemplating forgiveness, it really is a very intimate and personal thing. Okay, so just wanted to say that because this is something that's been, some people, they're still dealing with this right now. It's very difficult to forgive, especially the unforgivable. You know, a lot of people who have gone through narcissist relationship, we know a lot about that, the unforgivable. And the narcissist, sometimes because of a strong sense of entitlement, they may, they may even have the audacity to tell a person that they should forgive him or her. Okay? That goes back to that religious or spiritual beliefs that they may have. And they may be projecting that onto other people. Narcissists are often trying to throw off shame anyway onto others. They project onto others. Tool number 1, breathing exercises. Very important. On that note, right? Relaxation exercises. Very powerful. I still practice mindfulness. All this is under the umbrella of mindfulness, breathing and relaxation. When it comes down to the narcissist relationship, isn't it very hard to do both? When you think about it, it really is. Sometimes you may feel out of breath when you're dealing with a narcissist. Okay? Sometimes you may feel that tightness in your chest. You may be holding things inside. All these things. The narcissist, because the body does remember. Whatever we don't experience, what we're not with the things that we're choosing to not express with our voices, our bodies are expressing, even when we're not aware of it at first, right? But the breathing, very powerful. Deep breaths, okay? Breathe in, breathe out. Relaxation exercises. Relax. It's hard to relax around a narcissist. He or she, again, they may say or do things to keep people on edge, walking on eggshells, all these things. So you might have to get away from time to time just to do these first 2 tools. You may have to be a part of a group, a part of a support base, right? Third tool, daily healthy meal vlog. Recently, I've done some videos about the daily healthy meal vlog. And believe it or not, matter of fact, I need to go ahead and put this on camera for y'all. I have a few notebooks, whereas I kid you guys not, I will write down what I eat, when I eat it, and how I feel after I consume the meal, right? I just pay attention to that because our bodies do generate energy. Well, we are comprised of energy. We use energy, we share energy, yada, 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 right? So the daily healthy meal vlog is another way of self-control. See, it goes right back to self-control, which is actually your sweet revenge against a narcissist. Narcissists think the control is sweeter than, the narcissist thinks that control is much sweeter than revenge. But when you are a person who is in control, you're self-control, right? That is your sweet revenge right there because they can't control you anymore at that point. But I want to challenge you guys to start doing the daily healthy meal vlog. Just pay attention, a little bit more attention to that because we consume not only with our mouth, but through our eyes. We consume with our eyes, our skin, our minds. What are we taking in? Okay, right? The narcissist, believe it or not, will use that against the person. You may be thinking, well, how in the heck can they use what I eat against me? Oh, yeah, a narcissist can do that. Just pay attention. Sometimes when you're feeling crappy about something the narcissist said and or did, don't you reach for sometimes some of those Debbie snack cakes? I used to love Debbie snack cakes. So I used to, what was one? The fudge brownies. I was trying to remember. Yeah, it's been a long time, y'all. The fudge brownies were my favorite. Used to eat those a lot. But sometimes when we feel badly, we reach for the potato chips. We reach for something that's not so good for us. We may reach for a drink. Okay? So yeah, the narcissist actually has sometimes an indirect, but they can influence sometimes. They can capitalize off that. When you're feeling not so good, right? They'll capitalize off it. They tend to tap into that, right? So the daily healthy meal vlog, I challenge you guys to start doing that. And of course, I'm going to have some more videos about that because I've been sharing some of my healthy meal prep ideas. And some of you who have been looking at me for a long time on the LuminouszZtarr channel, you've noticed how I've been, sometimes I will cook, sometimes I will be doing the green smoothies or a smoothie. So when a person starts to maintain their health, the narcissist actually can start to lose their grip on a person's mind and everything else. Okay, so it's all about self-control, which is the sweetest revenge. Next tool, acceptance. When you start to accept that you're outgrowing the narcissist relationship, this is very powerful, right? So support base. The narcissist has no business in your support base. Matter of fact, the narcissist's pain is none of your business. I'm not trying to be smart when I say that, but just think about it. The narcissist's pain is none of your business. They will try to make it about you. They may try to gaslight you into believing that you are supposed to save them and fix them and rescue them. What does that sound like? That sounds like the codependence. Okay? Not everybody in a narcissist relationship is codependent, by the way. But the narcissist is overly dependent on the narcissist relationship. Whenever they think they're losing control of you, they may think and feel that they're losing supply. And that may be a direct threat to their false self-images, from that of a martyr to a victim to a saint, right? So narcissists have no business in your support base. They're not going to be on board for it anyway. And if they can, they will dismantle the support base. Next tool, become familiar with the word no. Sometimes narcissists, they don't want to hear the word no, but that's actually one of the best things that you can say to a narcissist is no. I did a video about the no access card, especially during the holidays. Give the narcissist a no access card. They don't have any access to your body, your mind, or whatever you don't want them to have access to. Some people have gone as far as to tell a narcissist they're no longer in their life anymore. The relationship is over. They go no contact, right? They may tell the narcissist, well, you have no access to my life anymore, right? So become familiar with the word no. Sometimes it'd be very hard to say that to a narcissist, especially if they are very charming and seductive. You know, there's a dark side to the seduction of the discard. Sometimes the narcissist will discard a person, but sometimes it just hurts so good. That's another video. I've actually did a couple of videos on that. There's a dark side to the discard. There's a dark seduction to it. Okay? I'm not going to get too deep into that. But when it comes to the word no and telling the narcissist no, that's another way of reflection, or the reflection that you are in self-control. You know, you're controlling yourself, right? Self-control. That's the sweetest revenge. Okay? So become familiar with the word no. When our gut tells us to say no, sometimes we end up telling the narcissist yes. But that's because the narcissist, perhaps they were very good with the seduction, right? Maybe they were very good with the charm. But anyway, next tool, comedy movies, books, films, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so keep it light, right? Keep it light, because the narcissist relationship is very heavy, very, very heavy. There's a lot of darkness, right? There's a lot of drama, karma in the narcissist relationship. So keep it light. When you're more in control, perhaps you want to start looking at movies or films or books or something that makes you laugh, especially before you go to bed at night. This is one of the reasons why we dream about narcissists. You know, we have nightmares about him or her because things are heavy, right? Before we go to bed, we might be looking at 48 hours or some sort of other drama, you know, on television, instead of laughing and keeping it light before we go to bed. And that even means what you eat before you go to bed. Try to keep it light. Because if you add on the heavy, right, the narcissist will tap into that. That's another way that they maintain control. Because if you're feeling heavy, you're feeling worn out, emotionally stressed, all these things. The narcissist, you ever wonder why they like to keep the drama going? Well, that's why. Because as long as we're in our feels or we're in our feelings, the narcissist is in control. So keep it light. Next tool, body work. Get a massage. Do something if you can, get some sort of body work going. Next tool, shadow work, right? Shadow work means what? You are embracing the good, the bad, the ugly of self, and you still love yourself. You accept yourself. The narcissist is not going to do it. Don't even wait for them to change their mind. Don't wait for them to change their hearts, because 9 out of 10 chances they won't, right? So shadow work is very effective, but it kind of combine it, you can actually use that with the body work, because like say for instance, if you go get a massage, you're releasing energy that's very heavy. You're releasing things that don't work. You're helping with the body aches and pains, right? Because the body work is just not physical. It's very effective. When somebody touches you, for instance, you either feel good energy or you feel some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when the narcissist touches us, we feel some kind of way, don't we? Right? I know I have. It's like, if I don't like somebody and they touch me, it don't feel too good. But if I like the person, hey, right? And they touch me, hey, that's all right. But that body work is very effective. You release tension. You release a lot of it, but not only physically, but you can release it on an emotional level, a spiritual level, even a psychic level. You can. Body work is very, very good. Okay, so shadow work, the same thing. You release energy that's very heavy. There's a thing called energy transference. When we're around the narcissist, I don't care if we're exchanging words with him or her, there's a energetic intermingling that goes on. Okay, so in order to release that stuff, right, shadow work is very effective, because when you start to embrace yourself, again, self-control, when you start to look at the good, the bad, the ugly, you're celebrating yourself. The narcissist can't do right? Can't do a daggone thing about it, right? They can just be mad. They can just be upset. But at the end of the day, you're not doing this to upset them. You're not being confrontational with the narcissist. No, you're in self-control, right? You're just as cool as a cucumber, right? A cute one, right? But shadow work is very effective. Next tool, create projects of your own. You don't have to include the narcissist in on everything. You really don't. Create projects will also do what? Create potentially new memories. Every time we do something, there's memories behind it, right? We have memories of going to school. We have memories of childhood friends. We have memories of family. We have memories. So when you create projects of your own and get involved, becoming more proactive, again, self-control in your own life, you're creating new memories. Therefore, you're releasing heavy energy. See how that works? Heavy energy is there because perhaps you feel badly about something that happened. So narcissist relationships are full of negative energy because there are a lot of bad, painful memories, aren't they? So when you create projects of your own, you're setting yourself up to experience your life in a new way. You may go back to school, for instance. You may go traveling. You may meet someone new. You may get involved in another relationship, not just a romantic relationship, but friendship, business partnerships, what have you. You may reunite with certain people from your past that were good to you. All of these things are creating new projects, okay? Because you can have new memories. Instead of just thinking about the old memories that are very painful, you ever wonder why the narcissist wants you to stay focused on that? Because they maintain control. They want you to think that they are just the God of your life. They want you to think that they're the ones that are the center of your life. So when you create projects on your own, of your own, on your own, perhaps without the narcissist, you may start to gain some confidence. Your self-esteem may be raised, right? So it's very powerful. Next tool, spend time away from the stressors. Well, I was going to say the narcissist, but that goes hand in hand. Spend time away from the narcissist. Therefore, you will be spending time away from the stressors. What's stressing you out? What's stressing you out about the narcissist relationship? A lot of things, probably. Some of you have memories of this, but they are fading away. They're far memories, because some of you're celebrating how far you've come now. This is good. Now, those of you, this is not saying that this is not good for you either, right? You can still spend time away. You can still get away. There's a lot of things you can do, because it starts in the mind, not the behind, right? A lot of people have packed up and left the narcissist, but they ended up going back. Why? Because they didn't uproot what they needed to uproot. I'm not scolding anybody. I just know the difference between just cutting the cord and uprooting something. When you look at the root cause of the narcissist relationship, you can reach down inside and you can uproot. Forget about cutting off. You uproot it. It can't sprout again. In other words, you won't have another narcissist relationship. Once we learn something, we don't have to repeat it. We graduate. So that goes hand in hand with when you uproot certain things. When you start looking at how you got in a narcissist relationship, you'll know how to get out. You will get out. That's another way of saying you can uproot. You're going past cutting the cord. And this includes narcissist parents. When you say you're cutting the cord, okay, great. But when you find the root cause of having the narcissist relationship with mom and dad, who may be narcissistic personality types, right? You're uprooting that. Nothing else can sprout after that. We all know if there are no roots in the ground, you can't grow anything. So when you uproot, when you find the root cause and you uproot, there's not anything that's going to be replacing that. Or the same thing won't happen again. You're learning from the narcissist relationship. I know I have, right? A lot of people ask the question, why am I having another narcissist relationship? Or why do I tend to attract narcissists? Well, because again, the root cause, finding the root cause, okay, root cause, and then you uproot. You're reaching down, you're pulling up that root. Just picture yourself taking a plant that you know is dying, right? You take it, you grab it, right? And you pull it up out the ground with the roots. Now, I'm pretty certain nothing else is going to grow in that area of the ground. Not that same plant anyway. It's not going to grow. There's no root. So cutting the cord is one thing, but uprooting is another. So spend time away from the stressors. Okay, get away. I don't care if you take a spa bath or go get a massage or something. Even if you have to get away, go to a quiet room and wherever you live at, just get away for a moment. Listen to some music. Do something. Just get away. Spend time away from the stressors. Next tool, journal. Pardon me. Journal, record, and write. Okay. Sometimes you take a tape recorder out and you speak on it. That's another way of releasing energy that doesn't serve you anymore. You're speaking on it. You're dealing with it. That energy is very heavy, but when you start to express what you have experienced, that's a very powerful way to release energy that you don't need. It's not serving you anymore. Okay, so journaling. Sometimes journaling is laughed at. People don't think it works. But when you jot things out, again, that's another way of releasing energy that doesn't serve anymore. Writing it out. Okay, write a book, write a memoir, write a poem, write some music, do something, right? Write a song. Write some love letters to yourself. I've done this personally. Okay, I've done that. Very powerful. Write a love letter. Write an angry letter to the narcissist. Write a love letter to yourself. Very powerful. Okay. And when you want to record, once again, some people, they don't like the sounds of their own voice, you know, but take a tape recorder and speak on it. You may not want to place pen to pad. You may not want to get on the computer and start typing, but maybe if you take a tape recorder and you start speaking on it, this is, after all, this is just for you. This is another way of reflecting that you are in self control. You are in control. Okay. Which is the sweetest revenge. You are in control. The narcissist cannot control, only if you give them permission. But when you start taking all these tools and just practicing, or at least considering them, and then perhaps starting to practice them, more than likely you will see some changes that you're probably going to like. And the narcissist will then, they will perhaps see that you are demonstrating, right? You're demonstrating your growth. You're growing past him or her. You're not stuck anymore. They're not able to control everything anymore, right? So, these things are very effective. Okay, and I want to challenge you guys to just try them out. All right, so the references and resources, of course, you will find these in the description box below. Now, there are there are a couple of things I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys here. Let's see. Let me stop sharing this. Let me go to you guys be patient with me for a second. I need to switch here. Share my screen. All right. I want to talk about the childhood experiences, the adverse childhood experiences. Okay. All right, you guys. Here we go. All right. Okay. All right. Adverse childhood experiences and the lifelong consequences of trauma. Okay, now I'm going to read this part. This part was very interesting to me, but again, the link is in the description. Actually, it's part of the slide presentation. Okay, so many people can identify a person in their lives who struggles with a chronic illness like heart disease, diabetes, or hypertension. Most people also know someone who struggles with mental illness, substance abuse, or relationships in general. Traditionally, the healthcare system will point to high risk behaviors such as poor diet, drug use, or a sedentary lifestyle as the primary causal factors. Okay. Where is it? There was something else I wanted to point out to you guys. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Okay. Oh, yes. Here's the part I wanted to share with you guys. Now, there are studies being done about adverse childhood experiences. And who are doing these studies? There's a lot of other places, but the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, okay, or CDC, in the Kaiser Permanente is leading to a paradigm shift in the medical community's approach to disease. Okay, this study of more than 17,000 middle-class Americans documented quite clearly that adverse childhood experiences, or ACE, can contribute significantly to negative adult physical and mental health outcomes and affect more than 60% of adults. Okay, so they're still doing these studies, by the way, but I wanted to point this out because some of the health issues that we are now dealing with is due to adverse childhood experiences. Now, some people, starting in their childhood, they were dealing with narcissist relationships. Okay, so adverse childhood experiences include emotional abuse. Now, I'm going to read back the article again. I'm reading again. Emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional neglect, physical neglect, mother treated violently, household substance abuse, household mental illness, parental separation or divorce, incarcerated household member. Okay, so these things are a contributing factor to the adverse childhood experiences. Okay, so I really wanted to point that out to you guys because this is something that is so easily overlooked, right? There's a few things that some of us are going through health wise right now that perhaps we're not aware is a direct result of having childhood experiences with a narcissist in the house, right? Exposure to childhood experiences. Okay, some of these experiences are not very positive. Sometimes people have a narcissist in their family. Sometimes they have someone in their family, maybe a grandparent that didn't treat them very well, maybe an aunt, an uncle. There may have been substance, abuse, alcoholism, right? All these things. All right, so let me go ahead and get out of this. But if you guys want to read some more of the articles that I have, please go ahead and check that description box as well as the slide presentation I just shared with you guys. Okay, friendly reminder. I have new merch out. So I certainly hope you guys are able to check out the new merch. Okay. I know, yeah, actually, I was going to go on yesterday just to change the subject a little bit. I was going to go on yesterday, but there was a whole lot going on. I wanted to go on live yesterday morning, but yesterday was a little crazy. So I'm glad I'm here with you guys now. And I want to thank everybody for being with me today. It was just a little crazy yesterday, but anyway, we're here. And I didn't want to go over an hour, but I think I'm up on an hour now. Yep. Okay. A little bit over an hour. Where is my oh, wait. I was looking for something else for you guys. I want to check something. Okay, I think I put the link to the new merch in there for you guys. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, where's my chat? Oh, I see. Okay. All right, guys. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for today. I want to thank you for your time. And until next time, you guys take care of yourself. Mwah.